Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Fernicus.
Say what?
Charette.
Doc G, what's up, sir?
Woo, Mike. I am full of the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Not
Me
really,
too, man.
but, you know, it's fine. It's
I
fine.
feel it.
I am excited. 4 days until the winter solstice, Mike.
That's right.
Yeah, that means that the days get longer again, right?
That's right. That's right.
I can't wait, man. I'm getting sick of this.
I know. We're turned the corner,
Ugh.
man. And then I can say, hey, I get to be optimistic. Even though everything in the world looks very pessimistic, I get to be optimistic about the days.
Yeah,
That
for
makes
sure.
me happy.
Yeah.
You know? That's nice. But Mike, I got a gripe to talk to you about today. I was listening to a couple of podcasts this week. Couple of podcasts. And I'm in the biz of entertainment podcasts, Mike.
Yeah.
Sort of outside of that, I don't really listen to them. You know, like I don't know. There's a lot of them out there. History and science. I don't really care about any of those. Like, as you know, Mike, I will listen to a lecture that is listed as a podcast, even though it's just basically a lecturer of history. I'll listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a class.
For sure.
You know, I'll listen to that. But anyways, I want to focus, Mike, on entertainment podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at entertainment podcasts, there's basically 2 types of entertainment podcast. And now I know what a lot of people they're saying. There's a lot more, but I'm just going to go ahead and say let's just take all the ones that are weird niche podcast and throw those out of the window. You know, those ones where it's like just one little topic of entertainment and that's all they're supposed to talk about. I don't get those, Mike.
Avenger news.
Yeah, like I don't get those, like, because
Yeah.
like there are very few things in my life that I care about enough that I want to listen to like seasons of material on it.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not so let's throw those out. So if you throw those out, you essentially have 2 types of podcasts. You have the Bros Rambling podcast, and you have Celebrity podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two podcasts. And when I say Bros Rambling, that can be anybody. It's not just bros. There are plenty of ladies that fall into the category of Bros Rambling podcast.
For sure.
And let's first start with those, Mike. The Rambling podcast. I know what people are saying right now. They're saying, Ben, all you do is ramble. It's true, listeners, but we have organized rambling.
We do.
I have an outline for this rambling.
This is very organized. This is a very organized show.
It's organized rambling, and that is a big difference. We're not just
Definitely.
meandering down for hours about random things, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of those, Mike. I start listening to some of these podcasts, like big podcasts, and I'm not gonna mention any names because people would get offended, you know.
That's a fact.
But they're just rambling. There's no point. There's no point. There's no punchline. There's no driving force. It's just literally like, oh, so like my maintenance guy came over the other day. And he was doing some stuff near my window. And I was like, bro, are you going to break my window? So like, what? I'm just like, what the listening to? What is this? And I know there are people out there that are like, well, every now and then they say something awesome. I'm like, yeah, every now and then. But, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I don't need to wait that long to hear something
point.
awesome. I don't need to shift through an hour of bull to find the one neat thing a person said. Like, it should be entertainment, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Call me old-fashioned, but if I want to hear people rambling, I'll go find one of my friends and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And we'll ramble. Like for the 30 minutes before we came on air, Mike. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to listen to a podcast to hear other people do that.
Nope.
No. Anyways, then you got the other ones. You got the celebrity podcast. They get massive guests, huge stars. And these people, they are insightful, witty, hilarious. For most of them, there's a reason why they are celebrities, Mike.
Yeah.
But I've found that when I listen to these, almost on every episode, it boils down to the famous host and the famous guest saying, can you believe we get to do this? Isn't this amazing? It's amazing. And the guest is agreeing, yeah, this is I'm filled with so much gratitude. I wake up every day and say, my life is amazing. I can't believe. And I'm just like, who is it for, Mike? Who's listening to this at their job and is like, yeah, I'm grateful too. I got the Thursday off after Christmas, so fuck, my life is awesome. Like, no. I don't need to listen to that either, man. Now, side note out, Mike, that's not saying an interview with Tom Hanks isn't awesome, because as we talked about,
Yeah.
they're awesome.
It's okay if Tom Hanks says it.
Well, and that's the thing, Mike, is you can tell though. Tom Hanks comes into those interviews ready to be entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
He comes into those things thinking, people want a show. I'm giving them a show.
Yeah.
You know? And I appreciate that about Tom Hanks. Shout out T. Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not praising each other, the other thing I've noticed they always talk about is how it's so nice that it's not like a late night talk show anymore. How it's nice to be able to talk in long format.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the other day I was listening to one of these, Mike, and they said, yeah, it's so nice, you're not trying to like entertain people all the time. All you're trying to do is just have a conversation with each other. And I was like, huh? Yeah, you are. You're supposed to be entertaining me. That's why I'm listening. What are you talking about? Like, if you're just having a conversation, turn the mics off. Like, what is... I don't get it, man. And you know what I'm here to say, Mike? Not on the Doc G Show.
No way.
We are trying to entertain you.
Yes, we are.
Are we good at it? No.
Nope.
But we are trying. All right? We are trying. These other people, they're not even out here trying, Mike.
Nope.
It's like they're in a swimming race and they've just got their floats on and are just looking up at the ceiling. They're not even trying.
Not even.
You know? We're in the last lane slowly drowning, but we're giving our effort, man.
It looks good.
We're pumping our arms. Exactly. Exactly. Mike, are you ready to fire up this entertainment?
Let's fire up this super organized, entertaining show, Doc G.
All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Woo! My goodness, it is. It is, Mike. It is. Mike, right now, what's your favorite podcast you're jamming on?
Well, I was listening to a biography, but I think I'm a fan of
Was this an audio book?
Yeah, it was an audio book.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't count that as a podcast.
I would say Huberman. I always like listening to the science. I get
enough of that in my day to day. That's
I
why
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but entertainment wise, Dak Shepard. I like Dak Shepard, and
he gets too serious for
expert.
me a little bit. But I give him credit because it's he's putting in the effort.
Yeah, he's got a list. It seems like he's kind of organized.
Oh, he's very organized. He's researched. He's ready to go. But like the only thing with him is like, you get really funny people on there and he's like, so how many times have you decided that you wanted to kill yourself?
What? Yeah.
Why? What? Why was that the first thing that we needed to talk about?
Well,
man?
as an anthropology major,
it's a lot. It's a lot. But anyways, Mike, we have a fantastic show. We have the one and only Mustard Service on the show. Homegrown fellas from Miami, Mike. This is a Miami band, born and raised. My goodness, I didn't actually get a chance to ask him, but one of the guys, he's from, like, he grew up in Miami Beach.
Oh wow!
And I always think, like, that has to be the weirdest thing ever. Like, it just got to be, like, it's so not what everybody thinks of when they think of a childhood. Like,
yeah.
Because Miami Beach is another world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listeners, if you haven't been there, it's another world. It is, first of all, it's not Florida. It's different than the rest of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, it's
very
different. It's different from the rest of Miami, even.
So true.
And then it's way different than the rest of the country. So, like, it's just, it had to be bananas growing up there. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
I haven't been there in a few years.
I need to get back down there. I was actually thinking about
I love
sometime.
it. I do love it.
Oh, I love it, man. I was thinking about sometime around the New Year's, perhaps going to see my brother, going down there, you know, partying hard.
Oh yeah.
On Miami Beach. And by partying hard, I mean not at all. But, you know, walking around and looking at other people partying hard. Anywho, Mike, we need to start where we start.
Birthday Suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Got some pretty big names on December 18th, Mike.
Cool.
Pretty big names. First of all, I think you can get this one without me giving you any more clues than this.
Okay.
You did some movie work with him just a little bit ago. He's one of the biggest actors of the last 30
Brad
years.
Pitt.
Brad Pitt is correct. Yes. Yes, Mike. Born on December 18th, 1963 in Shawnee, Oklahoma. First big breakthrough was in Thelma and Louise, where he was the hitchhiking cowboy. Then he starred in A River Runs Through It, Legends of the Fall, Interview with a Vampire, Seven, Fight Club. In 2001, he starred in the blockbuster Ocean's 11. Then he starred in Epic Troy. His production company, which he started in 2001, Plan B Entertainment, they've been behind some massive movies: The Departed, Eat, Pray, Love, World War Z, Selma, all kinds of huge movies.
That's a fact.
In his career, he has starred in over 65 movies. He has won 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and an Emmy.
Jeez.
And by God, he is just one of the most good-looking dudes you've ever seen, Mike.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend just the other day, yesterday, in fact, Mike, because I was writing this out when I was talking to him. He is 61.
Wow.
And I saw a picture of that dude, like, literally, like, 2 months ago. And if you told me he was 40, I would believe you.
Yeah, he looks great, man.
Like,
What is that?
It's insane, man. Like, there's got to be a little bit of genetic component in there. But, like, I want to know, do you have any work done, Brad?
Yeah.
You know? Like, no judgment, because it looks amazing if you did. But did you? Or is it just like, do you just have creams? You know, do you just do some nightly, cream work around your eyes?
Routine.
Exactly. I do think moisturizing is a real big part of it, and that's bad because I don't do any of that.
Hey, you know what was interesting, Doc G? One thing
that?
that I noticed about, being around Brad Pitt on the set,
right.
He
Constantly.
used a lot of chapstick. He was
Yeah.
always applying
See?
chapstick.
Moisturizing, man.
Yeah.
Moisturize. You know how much I use chapstick? 0.
Yeah, me too. I'm so scared. I'm
Never
nervous.
use it. Never use it. I remember, like, I used to actually even get chapped lips when I was like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, still wouldn't. They could be like bleeding from how cold it was outside and be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just weird.
Because it seems like it makes it makes it worse, right? Like, it soothes it temporarily, but then you develop like a dependency.
It feels weird. Like I
Yeah, it
don't
does
like
feel
the
weird.
film that I have on my lips when
I
that
don't either.
happens.
Yeah.
But that's the secret. All right, I'm writing it down, Mike. I'm just gonna put lip balm. I need a lip balm That's going to make me stay young. I've got it. Okay, good.
That's it. That's the secret.
Mike, do you have a favorite Brad Pitt role?
I want to say World War Z was fantastic. I mean, of the recent ones, World War Z, I mean, he obviously killed it in Fight Club.
Yep.
Yeah, what about you?
I was going 2 classics, either Troy or Fight Club.
Yeah, he was killer in Troy too, yeah.
Troy just made me mad because he was so like, I mean, he was playing Achilles. He was playing the perfect dude. Mm-hmm. And like, I remember going to see that in theaters and every lady, sighing sexily every time he came on the screen, just like, oh, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm here too, ladies, and I'm hot in this theater. No, nobody thinks so? Okay, whatever. Like, it's just like, and then everything that he did in that movie, he was just perfect, and you're like, he is good. He is good, Yeah, and that was the first movie, if I remember correctly, Mike, that was the first movie that he worked out for.
Oh,
he said he didn't work out for Fight Club, which I'm like, you didn't work out? And you looked like that?
Yeah, no way. He definitely he had to have worked out. I don't know. I mean, it could just be.
I think you might need to. I'll dig on this, Mike. But it might have been he never did like weight training until Troy. So
maybe
he might have just been doing like calisthenics. Yeah, he was doing some body weight stuff maybe before that.
Okay.
I bet that could be the case. Regardless, I bet you he still looks killer shirtless.
Yeah.
But he knows. He's like, I'm over 50. I'm not taking this shirt off. That's not happening.
I mean, come on, Brad. Let it all hang out, man.
No, he knows. He knows. He wants to keep the illusion going, Mm-hmm. He wants to go, and I can respect that. Respect, Brad.
Yeah.
You are sexy, my friend. Happy birthday. Mike, are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Okay. Mike got a little headline from Billboard. Here we go. Quote, Selena Gomez says she feels too old for the pop star life. My strong suit is probably acting.
Say what?
I think I got to say, Mike, too old or too rich? Because I'm betting if Selena had like $1,000 instead of $1 billion, you'd see her out there being like, age is just a number. I've got 400 gigs this year. Now let's get it. Like, I think it'd be a real different outlook if that were the case.
For sure.
Also, I feel like Madonna's like, what? Selena's too old? Oh, that is not good news. Oh, Jesus. That's bad. She's actually planning on coming out with a new album, Mike.
Madonna?
I think like this year.
Hey, good for her, man.
Good
for her. Yeah.
But I was also thinking about Selena, like, I don't blame her, Like, hanging out with Steve Martin and Martin Shore and, like, cooking the Food Network. That seems way easier than traveling around the world and doing 2-hour concerts,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It seems like I mean, you see how sweaty Taylor Swift got during all those Eras tours? Like, that seems like it's a lot of work. She's all breathless, changing outfits, coming up every 5 seconds with a different gear on. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, also, too, I don't know if you saw that Billie Eilish clip, man. I feel so sorry for that.
Where she got thrown in the face?
They're throwing stuff on stage. What are people doing, bro? I don't know.
They're getting out of hand. Getting out of hand. Anyways, Mike, I've got let's see, Hollywood Reporter. Got a little headline from Hollywood Reporter here. Quote, unreleased Michael Jackson tapes discovered in abandoned storage unit. Mike, they might want to specify that these are music tapes.
True.
When you say unreleased Michael Jackson tapes, start thinking child services.
They could have been VHS tapes or audio tapes.
Exactly. And get this, Mike, apparently one of the song titles is Truth on Youth. Now that will get some headlines. Unreleased Michael Jackson Truth on Youth tape discovered in abandoned storage unit. What? Yeah, yikes. Mike, these tapes are apparently from the time period 1989 to about 1991. They've got 12 tracks. And even though this sounded really cool, and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was in his prime.
Apparently, the Jackson estate already knew about these songs, and they have the masters of these songs, and they're just not interested in releasing them.
Oh, that's crap.
Yeah. So, it's not like somebody found these things and was like, oh my God, they knew they existed. They were already out there. They just weren't out there in the public because they weren't interested, because they probably weren't that great of songs. I mean, there was another song, Mike, that apparently was titled Son of Thriller. Which, let's be honest, if you're doing a follow-up, a sequel, and you call it Son of Thriller, that's already bad. That already sounds not good. I mean, it's Michael Jackson, so I'm sure it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But, are you going to be able to follow up Thriller?
I mean, definitely not, but it was...
Be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear.
But it's not a good sign when the estate didn't want to release it. If the
what does the estate know, Doc G?
The estate does know money, and if they think they can make money on it, they're going to release it.
That's
true. Apparently they were like, yeah, this isn't going to do it. Let's go ahead and not release this. Maybe they're planning on releasing it sometime down the line. Anyways,
keeping us
Mike,
waiting.
I've got a headline from Wall Street Journal. Here's the headline. Quote, analysis. Are you ultra rich, or merely affluent? It makes a big difference for your bank. You know who it makes a bigger difference for? You. Call me crazy, Mike. I don't care what my money does for the bank. It's much more important what it does for me. How can the bank help a person poor as they didn't see that in the headline. Can't. They don't want to.
What are a couple steps under affluent? What are those words?
Exactly. But, Mike, you're never going to believe this. The article informs us that banks like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, UPS, they like to go with ultra-rich folks because they have the most money, and obviously, therefore, they can charge them the most for fees and financial advising. What? Oh, my God, that blew my mind, Mike. I thought these folks were doing it out of the goodness of their heart at these banks.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Isn't that what the movie Wall Street was all about? Just people being good Samaritans trying to help each other out? Yeah, of course. They're leeches for anybody that have billions of dollars. That's what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here with that headline. Ridiculous. Mike, important headline from Complex. Quote, Steve-O says Kendrick Lamar has a cool factor that Drake doesn't. End quote. Finally. Since this beef started, Mike, I've been like, yeah, but what does Steve-O think? Okay? I don't know what to think about this rap beef until a guy that stapled his butthole shut and tells me how he feels. No offense. I love Steve-O, but I don't really care what he thinks about
Not a lot of
raps.
credibility, Steve-O. Sorry.
Well, just to be, maybe if someone was trying to get into a dryer and turn it on, that seems like an expertise. I'd be like, I think Steve-O knows about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Steve-O, what do you suggest? How should they get into this dryer? But rap? Nah. But, Steve-O seems to be doing good,
Yeah, he's got the podcast.
And I was about to
organized.
say, his podcast, he does his research. He's pretty organized. I don't mind. Some of his interviews, pretty solid. Pretty solid. I like him. Shout out to you, Steve-O. I just don't need to hear you talk about Kendrick.
No. Get him on the show, though.
Yes, if you want to come on the show, Steve-O, feel free. Mike, I've got a headline from the award-winning journalist over at the Bro Bible. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. So here's the headline. Quote, Ben Affleck has reportedly installed programs on his phone to keep Jennifer Lopez out of sight.
Huh?
Gonna be honest, Mike. Doesn't make it sound good for a addict like Ben Affleck. Makes it sound like he's a crack addict and J-Lo is the crack. Like, get it out of my sight. I can't deal with it right now. Like, it's not good. It's not good.
A filter for J-Lo.
Exactly. Here's what the insider said, Mike. Ben doesn't look at the internet, especially anything about his divorce from J-Lo. He avoids social media and does not click on anything to do with her. In fact, he has a J-Lo filter on his phone so that the browser doesn't allow anything that contains her name in it. Mike, I have the same filter on my phone, but instead of J-Lo, it's for Taco Bell. Recovering addicts.
Don't want to be enticed.
Don't tell me. Don't. Tostadas, I don't need to hear it. Don't. I'm not interested.
I have the opposite. I have an only J-Lo app where I only see all J-Lo content.
I thought you were going to say Taco Bell. Only Taco Bell comes onto my phone.
Better idea.
There's a lot of J-Lo news out there, Mike.
Yeah,
That's a lot of filtering. His news has to be pretty sparse. I do like, there's not too much about this, Mike. I don't have like a joke for this, but like, I do think it needs to be emphasized how wild it is that they went out together. They almost got married 22 years ago. And then 20 years after that, they were like, let's run that back.
Wait, what?
Let's try that again. Like, would you ever think of doing that with a lady that you'd been out with before?
No way.
It's just like I feel like everybody around them had to be like, what the are they thinking? Like, just, it's crazy, Mike.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, sometimes, though, the stars, they get really close together, and then they fling one out, but then it kind of comes back around, and then they become a black hole.
Okay. Is that what you're thinking?
Maybe in their 80s, J-Lo and Ben Affleck will finally become a black hole.
Yeah.
They'll finally be together for their entire lives, which will be 2 years.
I mean, I think we all know.
This is my prediction.
I think we all know great euphemism for your relationship is being a black hole.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Mike, I've got a headline from The Guardian. Quote, more discreet Viagra-type drug could soon be available in Britain.
Finally.
Like, I read this, Mike, and I was like, how much more discreet can you get, though? Like, I mean, do sirens go off when you pull out a Viagra pill? Like, oh, just, like, you know, like just alarms
Why is
go
your tongue
off.
blue?
Exactly. Like, but apparently what they're doing, Mike, is they're planning on making those little film tabs, you know, like Listerine breast strips.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's not really more discreet than a pill. Like, if somebody sees you popping one of those strips in, they're going to be like, hey, my breast stinks. Can I get one of those too? And you're going to be like, you're going to have to explain how your wiener doesn't work. That's going to be awkward. Like, you know, instead of making strips, just don't make the pill bright blue. Like, make the pill look like a plaque psoriasis pill.
Yeah, there you go.
Nobody will ask for that. And double bonus, they'll be like, hey, your plaque psoriasis pill's really working. I don't see any spots on you. It's great. Nice. Good
Why
job.
is it blue, by the way? Is it like a food coloring, or this is just the association that everybody...
I mean, I feel like, I think it was to stand out. I don't think it was like some kind of chemical that they had to put in there that they're like,
Can it be white?
Yeah. Like, I don't think they were like, well, the only vasodilators for wieners are blue. So, That's all we can
There's
do.
no way around it, guys.
We gotta put in the old blue sauce. I think we all know.
I thought you meant when you said it was going to be more discreet, like your boner doesn't, like, it's not as crazy. Like it's just
70%. 70%. That I don't think people would like that. Hey, guess what? It gives you a smaller erection. Oh,
it's just more discreet. Okay,
that's true. It's
finally I can go out in public.
It's camouflage. Anyways, Mike, we are going to take a break. We are going to be right back. But first, we're going to hear from our guest here, Mustard Service, right here on the Doc G Show. Back here on the Doc G Show, Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, if the listeners find this entertaining and they enjoy entertainment and not random rambling, what should they do?
Doc G, they should subscribe to the show wherever they consume their podcast. They should subscribe to our podcast on that platform. Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. We're on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the show. It's a cost-effective way to support the show. And listeners, if you are feeling extra generous, please leave us a review, a 5-star review at that.
Yes. Amen. You know, you just sort of reminded me of this when you were imploring the listeners to go out there, Mike. Shout out to Andrew Browning, who was on the show. I think he's the first guest that we've had on the show that made a clip of him being on the show and posted it himself.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was like, props to you, Andrew. Thank you for doing that. You know,
I think he shared my post too.
He did.
Man, that guy's cool.
Shout out to Andrew, because most people, you know, it's like they're ashamed. It's like they had sex with the ugly person in class or something. Okay.
What?
And guess what? We're not the ugly person.
No,
listeners.
we're not. We're the hot ones.
Exactly. That's what we tell ourselves. Mike, we need to thank the regulars. We got a lot of them. Here we go. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really lock in here, Mike. I'm not gonna put too much on myself.
No pressure.
I'm gonna let me.
It's a difficult list, Doc G. Give yourself a break. I mean, some of these places are hard to say.
It's a lot. Here we go. Shout out to Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Bradford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richards, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Perfect.
I locked in, Mike. I locked in.
Yeah, that was great.
You know, I was like, enough effing around. That's what we do on entertaining shows. We repeat city names fast.
Yeah,
That's what we do. Without screw-ups. Without screw-ups, Mike. You know, I'm still really, you know, like, I mean, some of those places, they wax and wane with how many numbers they have, but I want to give a shout out. Falkenstein came in a couple of months ago, and they keep listening, you know? So shout out to Falkenstein.
Yeah,
Germany.
Thank you, Falkenstein.
You know, they've been keeping it real consistent. Like Dublin, Ireland, of course. Shout out to you guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, I get very excited about the internationals. Barcelona, Spain as well. Shout out to you guys.
Thank you.
I mean, not taken away from any of the domestics, but I mean, it's crazy. It still boggles my mind to think that 4,000 miles away, 5,000, I don't even know how many miles it is, but a lot of miles across an ocean, there's a person sitting there in Germany like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to listen to this entertaining show with these two jack. Yeah, you know? And I appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a lot.
We do.
Mike, we need to thank the 4-star listeners. Guess who's coming in hard? They're sort of like a semi-regular here. We say them a pretty good amount on the old 4-star listeners. You got any ideas? International, what do you think?
International.
Yeah, international, but we've said them a lot.
New Zealand? Is it in New Zealand or no?
It's Southeast Asia.
Tokyo?
Not Tokyo.
No.
Singapore, Mike.
Singapore.
That's right.
Hitting it hard. Singapore coming in with the listens. Hundreds of listens this week, you know? And I got to give it to them. Shout out to them. So you know what time it is, Mike? Guessing the weather in Singapore. We're doing it. What do you think it is, Mike?
No idea.
They are very close to the equator. So think.
Yeah, so it's got to be like 85.
But also, you got to remember, complete other time. It's the AM.
Like 76.
Mike, you're right there. I'll give it to you. It's 77. I'll give it to you. You nailed now, and they got some rain right now. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, a little rainy in Singapore, but man, killing it, killing the game.
Thank you, Singapore.
Yeah. Gillespie, New Jersey. I don't think we've got a Gillespie before, so shout out to you guys. Very close to New York, Mike. That's very close to the city, Gillespie is.
Okay.
St. Augustine, Florida, right down the road from us. Thanks for the listens, guys. We appreciate it. Mountain View, California. Thank you, guys. Ithaca, New York. That seems pretty cold. Let's hit up a Ithaca, Mike. What do you think Ithaca weather is?
I'm going to go... 30 degrees.
Very close, Mike. Again, I'm going to give it to you. 31.
Wow.
31. I'm going to give it to you. That's, and hold on. Let me look. Oh, yeah, that looks, Mike, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you've got the icon for snow. Every single one of those days.
Snow icons.
Screw that, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ithaca. That is horrible. I would leave automatically if I were there.
That's tough.
Hanover, Germany, Mike. We got another Germany there. Hanover. It's I don't know Hanover. Do you know Hanover?
No idea.
Okay. Now, shout out to you, Hanover. We appreciate the listens. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out to them. Istanbul, Turkey, Mike. Istanbul, Turkey.
Cool.
Broken Arrow, Arizona. Atlanta, Georgia. Moscow, Russia. I'm not going to lie, Moscow. I get a little worried when you listen.
Yeah.
If you're just everyday citizens, feel free. But it just makes me a little uneasy. I'm like, what's going on?
I can't wait till it's safe, though. I really want to go to Russia. My grandparents used to rant and rave about going to Russia. They love that place. Yeah,
just all over the country, or just like Moscow?
I think Moscow. I remember specifically they love that place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
cool place to go.
I don't see it getting safe anytime soon, but let's hope. We can hope. And lastly, shout out to Phoenix, Arizona. There we go. Mike, we need to move on. We need to get to our guest here, Mustard Service, but we will be right back on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very excited to be joined by Miami's own Mustard a Service, who will be playing alongside Flip Turn and the Brook and the Bluff at Playground Festival on January 18th. We have Marco and Adam. Fellas, how's it going?
Doing great right now. Getting ready for the day. It's 2 p.m. in Miami, Florida. Beautiful warm weather.
Love it. Love it. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Adam?
I just made some bacon. I feel great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was that breakfast for lunch, or would you consider that breakfast?
Well, I ate it like an hour ago, so I guess it's like a little bit of a brunch, if you will.
Okay. I like it.
I think that's lunch. I think brunch is like 11.
Now, anything with that bacon, or was that just straight bacon?
No, I got creative today. I got toast, and I toasted brie on it with some jam, and then I crumbled up bacon bits on top of it.
Wow. That sounds fancy.
I worked with what I had in the fridge, you know?
Anytime you add brie to something, it sounds fancy.
Yeah.
That's a fancy ingredient right there. Now, what kind of, was it just like your normal everyday toast, or was that some kind of fancy bread as well?
We got some like Italian 5 grain, you know?
Gosh, man, that's
straight from Publix.
That sounds like a power breakfast to me, or a power lunch right there. Sounds like you're ready to accomplish the day.
I am. I'm ready to go.
Well, now, I love to take the listeners back, so I'm going to take the listeners back. Marco, I guess the band sort of started around you to a degree, right?
I think it started off an album that I was doing with a buddy of mine, just kind of sorry, can I cuss?
You can. Go for it.
Okay. I was just kind of buddy, didn't think anything would happen, and then we started getting, like, we needed to gig, and we needed to bring some people along. So originally it was that buddy of mine and 2 other friends that are now have real jobs.
Real jobs.
7 years. Adam and Leo joined, and now we just kind of write together.
I love it.
As a full band, yeah.
Well, now, Marco, I heard you started playing guitar when you were like super young. When you started getting those lessons, now, did you have a plan? Like, as a kid, were you one of those people that were like, I'm gonna be in a band, that's what I'm gonna do, or did the lessons spark that in you?
No, I just wanted to get laid, really. And, I remember I started off because my mom played guitar and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I asked her to teach me a couple songs. I think the first one I learned was Father and Son by Cat Stevens.
Nice.
And then I kind of, from age 10 to like 14, would kind of just learn songs by ear, learn them wrong. And then I got into lessons where this guy in Hialeah for $20 a week would show me how to play classic rock riffs. So I was learning the solo to Black Dog, my pentatonic scale. Nice. And this sucks. And and then I started writing folk songs. And eventually I met these kids, and they're jazz heads. And I asked them to give me all the information they know about
Well, now, I heard a while back, this was, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years ago I saw you say this, but Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic there, was that was sort of like that was a big flashpoint to start a band.
That was huge, not so much because of the music, although I did love, like, that still is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But more so, it was a documentary, Funky Monks, that you can find on YouTube. And I remember watching it in 9th grade with our old guitarist, Nucci, who's still a great friend of ours. I actually have to call him back. But it's a documentary where the Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, Flea, Anthony Kiedis. I don't think Chad Smith stayed while they were recording this record, but Anthony Kiedis, John Frusciante.
Big old mansion.
big old mansion, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is the funnest thing ever. I want to go make a record with my best friends for a month and lock ourselves in a haunted mansion.
Yeah.
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 I
With
think-
Rick Rubin.
Exactly. thought
I
it was
think that whole era of the early Chili Peppers was so like important for a lot of bands. I feel, I think a lot of kids were seeing that and just being like, man, let's start a band, like.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, they had, those guys had they all had a real love of it too. It's like you said, like they're just sitting around that whole time they're in that mansion. Like, I mean, you see them on Breaking the Girl, they're like, what can we use for percussion? And they're going around, they're just finding things to bang on while they're doing, and just like, yeah. And I mean, there's just so many like moments like Rick Rubin finding Anthony's lyrics to Under the Bridge and being like, hey, you should make this a song. And he's like, I don't know, that sounds crazy. And he's like, no, do it. And like, I mean, just, it's
it almost seems like a movie that was scripted, but it's documentary style. It's like magic. It was us as a kid. It was a dream.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many good jams, like you said, on that song, on that album, though, like Under the Bridge and Breaking the Girl, Give It Away, Power of Equality. Yeah. Suck My Kiss. Like, I Could Have Lied. Like, that was one of my first favorite albums. Like, that was one of the albums, like, I just, and that was what I told people was my first favorite song ever was Under the Bridge, which it was, and then I found out so many other music, and then I had to take away the idea of a favorite song ever. I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't I can't do one, Yeah. Well, Adam, your dad is a music producer. So
yes, he is.
You were always in studios around music as a kid, I'm guessing. When did you start playing drums?
I was when I was a baby, my parents had to take care of me, and they're always traveling, going to different studios, and so they decided to just take me with them, and I'd be in these studios every other day, and I just got fascinated with drums. Apparently, that's what my parents told me, and they sat me down on John Robinson's kit. They were doing a session with John Robinson. He's the drummer. He did stuff on like Thriller. I mean, he's
up there. Yeah.
Big time drummer. And I guess I just loved the drums when I was a kid. And then as I grew up, there were things like, my parents got a drum kit, and then things like Rock Band and Guitar Hero were coming out, and I was playing those, and I just got in love with music, and I just thought like, hey, runs in my family, so let's do it.
Now, were you always the band guy all the way through high school? Like, I mean, concert band, all the different bands, jazz band.
I mean, at my school we had a cool thing called rock ensemble, so I was like in a rock band, and pretty much,
nice.
As a kid, I was in all the jazz bands. Yeah, I did music my whole childhood, really. So
now, were you always like the lover of actual, like, could you actually get down on theory when you were a kid, or was it just I want to play with songs?
When I was a kid, probably not. No, I just cared about cool songs and looking cool and flipping sticks around and stuff. But as I grew up, I started studying jazz. I got into theory. I started playing more piano. I played some bass, and I guess I learned more then. As I grew up.
Now, Marco, you said it started with that album. Was at first, were you like, this is going to be like a solo endeavor? Was that what you saw?
No, I didn't really see it as anything. It was more so, for a little context, I was in a band with the same buddy that we made this record with, but I was on bass, and it was someone else's band who I was supposed to fill in for their bassist.
Yeah.
And I kind of assumed it would be collaborative. We would all write songs, but it turned out to be more so we're playing someone else's songs.
Yeah.
And I got kicked out because I didn't have a bass or a bass amp. Valid, super valid.
You were missing the crucial instrument. Yes.
Exactly. And so they rightfully kicked me out, and I just kind of showed our drummer this song. I was like, hey, I kind of had this. And he was like, cool, let's record it. I didn't know if I was going to be for this band I was in, or another band, if someone else was going to sing it. I'm not much of a singer myself, so I didn't know what it was going to be. And then it turned into just like a good time, kind of like the Blood Sugar, like the Funky Monks documentary. It just turned into me going to his house, exhausted after work for like a year, and just laying down whatever we thought of at the moment. Him on drums, and I would just pick up a guitar, we'd fill in, I'd play bass on whatever needed bass, etc.
Now I think Leo came in the band next. Was that the next member to come there?
Leo was next, who's at work right now, God bless his soul. He came because we needed someone to play keys. And at that point we were just a drummer, a bassist, a guitarist, myself, and Leo came in because we needed a little bit of a jazzier feel to it. We had just, Mac DeMarco had just come out with all his stuff, so we were like, you know what, let's put some seventh chords in here. Leo came in, really taught us a lot, and then that drummer left to go produce shortly after this first album came out. And Adam came in, I think, a month after. Everybody kind of gravitated towards the project rather quickly after it was formed. It seemed like record came out 2017, and I think, Adam, you were already in the band by the time the record came out.
Yeah, I joined. Well, originally I actually declined their offer, which is a funny story.
You did.
I was like focused on another group that I was in, and I just didn't want to like, take time away from that group I was in. And I was like, sorry guys, can't do it. But then Leo actually asked me again a second time, and he's like, man, we really need someone for this gig. And then I actually started listening to the record, to Zest Pop, and I was like, wow, man, this is like I think I'd like to be in this band. And I played that gig, and that was it. I mean, fell in love with all the guys. They're now, some of my best friends. And
Adam used to think I was now we're basically lovers.
Yeah.
What made you think he was an Adam?
Yeah.
Well, I was big on first impressions at the time, and the first thing Marco ever said to me, he came up to me and he said, "What's up, nerd?" And I was just like, who is this guy, man? What is this?
It was a term of endearment.
I will say that's not the best introduction. That was that would take me a little bit to get over too. But Marco was coming in strong. He was coming in hot.
Yeah, I thought we were on the same page. What's up, nerd?
That's true. Yeah. Sometimes
it came off as like, "What's up, fellow nerd," as opposed to "What's up, nerd."
I got you.
Yeah, no, I think at the time I was, when we're younger, we tend to be a little more sensitive, I think. So I think, now if I heard that, I wouldn't care as much. But
now, was that a good deal before, like, you joined the band? When did that go down?
That was like at that first gig I played with them, really.
Okay.
Like,
so you were like, gotta play this gig with this now. Oh man. Oh geez.
Yeah.
But
I got
out.
over it quick though.
Yeah.
I didn't hold it against him at all.
Well, I think it's a good lesson, and you don't judge a book by its cover. The cover being a nerd comment this time, and you were like, you know what? I'm going to read a little bit more of this book. Oh, this Marco book is good. I like it.
And hey, you know what? I am a nerd, so Marco is right.
So he called it right. God, he got me. Well, now once you guys were all together, once Adam was there, how long? I mean, you sort of said it a little bit, Adam, but like, how long did it take before you all sort of looked at each other and were like, "I think we got something here. I think this is we want to keep this going right here. This crew."
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah. We just noticed this is good. Let's keep this going.
Yeah. The other day we were hanging out. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should keep doing this.
We should keep this as our job.
I think it happened at the start, or like it was more so. Maybe it never happened. It was just a case of, it was always really fun.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like a commitment that we had to be like, yo, are we gonna do this? It just felt like, oh, yo, we're doing. Ever since that, we went on tour for the first time, and we were like surfing on couches and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that might have been the time we were looking at. But for me, I was like, yeah, of course we're touring and we're doing.
Yeah,
this is what we've been wanting to do. So I think it was then. That first tour really made it feel real, even though we were already kind of in the mindset of it.
Yeah.
That tour, I think we did have some moments where we were really drunk and we were like, bro, I love you, dude. Like, we're on tour, dude. Like, super young.
Yeah, we got a very blessed opportunity to open for a band called Heinz, who was a band from Spain. Group of 4 girls. They're now 2 girls now, but they're I mean, when we went on that tour, they taught us like everything we know now. Like they were so smart and so good at touring, so good at performing, and gave us so many tips. And yeah, that tour I think really defined like our future, or our hopes for the future, I think.
Yeah, to this day I think that was probably the funnest. No offense to anybody else who's toured with us, they're all fun, but the first one is always the most special. Especially
first cut is the deepest.
Exactly. I was a big fan of Heinz before they hit us up, and I remember I was working at like an ice cream shop when I read their DM, but their drummer hit us up through DM saying, hey, we're coming to the US, do you want to tour with us? I didn't ask how much. I remember just going like, yes, let's go.
that would have been a real downer if they were like, for free. Oh. Yes.
I mean, we didn't even care. I mean, we practically did the tour for free. We had to do like a GoFundMe to be able to afford touring. You know,
still worked out. Worked out.
Yeah, I would still pay to get to have that first tour. So much fun.
Yeah.
Well,
we actually we filmed, like, we ended up bringing like a camcorder. We filmed around like 40 hours of footage for that, and there's actually on YouTube you can look up a video of us on that tour. It's like a 20-minute long video.
Yeah,
put together.
You see, like towards the end of the tour, we're picking up the camera less and less.
God, it's still here. All right.
Yeah.
And also all the best times, no one wanted to pick up a camera and film, right? It was
yeah.
There.
Well, that's why you got to have that. I mean, you know, and it obviously it doesn't happen when you guys are just starting out, but that's why you got to have that cameraman, you know.
Yeah.
That's your job. Like, I don't have to think about this, you know, like, because if you're thinking about it, it's like you said, you just there's more fun things to do. You forget.
Exactly.
Well, now you guys are obviously, you are a Miami band. Miami is extremely unique place. I love it. It's one of my favorite places I've ever lived. Do you think a person can listen to Mustard Service and say that's a Miami band? Is it in the sound?
We get very confused with a lot of people think we're an LA band. Everyone's always like, you guys have that California sound. But I don't know. I think we do a lot of Latin influence in our music, and I think that could, you know, definitely be a Miami thing.
Well, I was noticing, I mean, you speak of I mean, Los Angeles is leading the way in your top 5 on Spotify.
Constantly, yeah.
So, you know,
I think
you've tricked them.
I have kind of a hot take. I don't think the musicians that come from a city dictate the city sound. I think it's more so, what is the city like? And Miami is a techno house Latin city. That being said, we do well here. So I'm not quite sure if we can be considered, I mean, I lean towards yes because we're from
Okay.
Miami and
Yeah.
we have all the influence from the South Florida hardcore, Miami Latin, R&B.
Mm-hmm.
So with globalization nowadays, like, you know, what's the difference really between Miami and New York music? What's the difference aside from like the bands that come out of there? You know, back in the day, you can say, all right, LA has like, what's this band called? Oh my God, Rage Against the Machine. New York has the Beastie Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I think it's much more blurry. Like, there's not the lines aren't so.
Definitely, I'll say like in rap, you see that has really blurred. Like back in like the 90s, you used to have a clear split. It was easy to see. If you heard a song, yeah, you knew it was a West Coast song. You knew it was an East Coast song. And now locality wise, you have no idea. But
Yeah,
I will say
I think you can like kind of geo locate. I think is like Southern rap. I think it's the one genre that you hear Atlanta beat or like a Florida beat, and you're this is not LA or New York.
I will, yeah.
This ain't Memphis.
Well, Memphis has always had its own beats. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, that's why I bring it up.
Well, now I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I will say there are some songs that I feel like are very city feeling, and I will say one of the bands that you guys have toured with, you're going to be touring with them again. The Magic City Hippies. Bull Ride off of Hippie Castle just encapsulates going out in Miami to me. Like going out and riding around, not obviously being a rich person that can afford to go to like fancy places in Miami, but just being those people just driving around looking for that good time and riding that bull. It is, to me, that is a Miami song, and to me that was the first one I heard of theirs, and I was like, yeah, this works.
That song is absolutely almost like a postcard or a promo ad, like "Come to Miami." Because Miami is that, you know, for a lot of people, Miami is the weekend, the Labor Day, the 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
I think for locals, Miami is a little different.
Oh yeah.
But you know, that's definitely a huge part of it, especially working in the service industry. Like, you see these lifestyles, you see sugar baby, you know, you might be a bartender at a bar, you see some dude and his sugar baby, some girl and her sugar daddy, or the big foreign car that you know is rented that's broken down on the side of the highway. People twerking on top of a car. It's great. I love it.
Secret fact about the show. That's first pressing of the Hippie Castle, signed by all the fellas.
That's huge.
That was John and Robbie and Pat have been nice enough to come on the show several times, and I spent way too much money on that. They had a fundraiser for I forget. I want to say it was for food banks. Actually, I know it was for food banks. And since that was the charity, I was like, you know what? That means I can spend as much as I want on this and not feel stupid about it. So I'm gonna do that. And I spent way too much money on it, and now it's the secret jewel of the studio.
Sometimes you have to rationalize poor financial decisions because you
just got to go for it. You got to go for it.
The gut feeling will rationalize itself.
Well, now, how did you guys get to know Robbie, John, and Pat?
Well, we don't formally yet, to be honest.
No,
they used to have a studio in Miami that they worked out of. that was kind of like a just a warehouse building that this girl bought, and she ended up using it as like a DIY venue, and then they would go and do like stage rehearsals, and they had like little private rooms where they had studios. So there was a time where we actually rented out that venue to do our, own festival thing that we call Zest Fest. It was the first Zest Fest ever. And we actually ended up meeting, I'm not sure, I guess Marco wasn't there, but I was there with Nucci, and we were talking to the Magic City Hippies guys all day that day when we were going in to like go look at the venue. They were there, of course, because they, practically lived out of there.
Yeah.
They're working all the time. And yeah, there's such sweethearts, man. Like those guys are the best, and I'm super excited to be on the road with them. They're
nice
great.
Nice dudes. And I was really bummed. I don't know if you saw this. They had some great merch. I think it was on their last tour. They had this great tiger logo where there's a little palm tree in the actual like head of the tiger. And they had a sweet jacket, and I missed out on it.
Oh.
I'll tell you, you guys gotta get with them about how they like sell their gear and everything, because they're like masters at it.
We got to get you that jacket, dude.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I'm not going to push, but yes. But like, they just do such a good job at like supply and demand. Like, I've realized how they always like, they watch their numbers, they know what they've got, and they're like, we're going to sell, we're going to sell out of this and leave just a few people wanting more. Like, and they
yeah. Because now you're going to buy the next one that comes out.
Exactly. Well, now, being a Miami band and being in the mixing pot that is Miami, you were talking about that first tour. When you went out there, was it like, oh my God, all these places are awesome? Or were you like, wow, this is really weird compared to Miami?
A little bit of both, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say one thing I noticed was meeting other local bands that we were playing with, and just the rest of the music world across the country. I was like, more people than I ever thought have like home studios and like nice gear and easy access to, basically starting a band and trying to make music. Miami didn't really have a good local scene when we started. It always seemed like an internet thing. But something that really freaked me out was like, we are so far behind, because we started touring at I was 23. I think Adam was 20.
I was 21.
Yeah, and I saw all these kids that
I was 22. 21. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
I was like 23. Yeah. And I remember seeing kids that were like 17 who were opening for us, and they were talking to me about DAWs. I'm like, yo, do you use Ableton? And I was like, what? I have
I have an iPhone. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And I have a chorus pedal. Well, I know what you're talking about. So it really impressed me that there was real scenes and real, I guess, grassroots music movements around the country that I didn't see as much in Miami. And to be honest, still kind of don't.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I think, like you said, a lot of individuals doing their own thing, sort of packed away, and it's nice to see people still getting together to do the music.
Yeah.
Well, now, so you've got 3 albums out there. Most recent is Variety Pack. Now I got to talk about one song on Variety Pack, because I love it. It's Your Cat Don't Stand a Chance.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And I love the song, fantastic jam, and it just there's another layer because it features your cat, Marco.
It does.
Smokey.
He's outside right now. Yeah. If I could move my monitor, I would show you, but he lays on this little cat post outside.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He seems like a very laid back cat.
Super chill.
Yeah. Well, Adam Uncle Adam, we used to live together.
Yeah.
So Adam saw him quite a lot. He's unbelievably chill. He's like a rag doll.
Yeah.
As long as you got a little food, he will do whatever you want.
I mean, in the video, you guys are just sort of like crowd surfing him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, whatever. Like, he's just like,
Yeah, I mean, you could dangle him by like his legs, and he would like not care. He's like a broken cat. He just doesn't.
Yeah, rub his belly up and down. He won't bear trap you.
Yeah.
He's love him. Sometimes I want to crush him, but I won't.
I have a theory that black cats are the nicest cats because they've been trying to overcome the stereotypes associated with black cats, the witches, the voodoo, all of that kind of stuff. So they have to put themselves out there and be like, I'm really nice.
Yeah, I'm just a chill guy, you know?
I think it's like supply and demand. Since they're so taboo, people don't pet them. So
that's true.
A lot of supply of pets.
That's true. They're out there looking for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. He is the star of that song. Now, was that like, as far as writing that song, was that one of those? I feel like it's one of those that you're just sort of staring at him one day, noodling on the guitar, and we're just like, yeah.
It was a period in time where I was doing a lot of a lot of drugs, a lot of uppers.
Fair enough.
Just heard Anderson .Paak's "Your heart don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Can't stand your legs."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a sick line. And I was trying to steal the melody incorrectly, obviously. And my cat, when I got to doing vocals, my cat wouldn't stop meowing because he was hungry, even though he'd just been fed. And since I have a condenser microphone, my vocals would always have like a meow under it. So I started writing him like a hate song. Starts off "Smoke, he's annoying me now." And then I looked at him for a little longer and then turned into a love song.
You were like, I can't stay mad at you.
Exactly. And it was never supposed to be like a mustard song. I was kind of just being funny. For myself and my friends and my girlfriend at the time, who I shared the cat with.
Yeah.
And I showed it to the boys and they're like, yo, let's put this on the record.
It was a good idea. Right now, Your Cat Don't Stand a Chance, number 2 on Spotify. So
Thank God we did.
It's getting it. Well, now I noticed you've had like 3 years in between each album. So Zest Pop, and then there's 3 years, and C'est La Vie, and then it's 3 years, and then Variety Pack. Was that on purpose? Can we expect a new album in 2026, or is that just how it went down?
Well, we got these tricky little things called day jobs. so it
slows it down a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember the music video for Daddy Dookie Brown on C'est La Vie took like a year to shoot. Just because we had to work around everybody's working schedules. It had to be weekends. And obviously you can't every weekend. And then there was just no money for it. So it was like, you got to work so you can accumulate enough capital to then make another album. And so on and so forth. It's like a beautiful prison you make for yourself. And you keep going.
But to answer that, we will not be keeping this 3-year rapport.
Nice.
You can definitely expect stuff soon.
Oh man,
yeah.
I feel like that was a little bit of a teaser. I feel like it's knocking on the door. Oh, that's man.
Practically, yeah.
That's good stuff. Okay. Well, now, like I mentioned, you guys are going out on the road with Magic City Hippies here in literally like just a couple of weeks. Now, I hear, and this is literally from folks that have been to your concerts. I've never had the pleasure of going to a Mustard concert. I hear you guys like to get out there, talk directly with the people after you perform.
That's something that we learned from Heinz, actually, from that tour. Because we had never, we always did that because the people in the crowd were our friends as a local band.
Yeah.
So when we went on tour, we saw Heinz go out and like talk to people, and you know they're good-looking girls, so obviously they have a
leg up. Yeah.
a horde of people lined up to just talk to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do they do this for so many people? But to watch them doing with such ease and seeing how happy their fans were to just like humanize them, you know, like they're no longer these people on your computer screen. They're now someone who maybe you had a short, witty interaction with, and you know, seeing how special that was for people really made it like an incentive for us to go out and do the same.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You know, chit chat with someone for a minute or two. It's also nice, you know. You get to see what your fan base is like.
Well, now I'm guessing there's been a couple of. I mean, obviously, you don't have to mention any names or anything. Probably you don't remember any, but I'm guessing there were a few weird ones out there. A few weird interactions.
Of course, there's always gonna be weird ones. I mean, we're pretty weird ourselves, so we kind of see those things and hear it, and we're just kind of like, that's funny, I guess. You know, like
yeah. One thing about demographics is there's always, you know, extremes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
For me, like I always loved talking to fans and stuff in general, because when I go and see a band and I hear that they're being all secretive, they want to hide in the back and not talk, I never really liked that myself. You know, like I like, if I'm a fan of someone, I want to like actually meet them and like see what's going on, see what they're like, and like, you know,
Yeah.
it's always been cool for me to talk to fans and get them the experience that I've always wanted from other bands, you know.
And a lot of our fans are funny. I remember this one kid in San Diego, I think, after a show. He came up to me right after the show and he said, "What's your favorite tattoo?" And I was like, showed him one on my leg that I did myself that says "Never Gonna Die." And he was like, "Cool, can I take a picture of it?" And I was like, "Sure." He takes a picture and then he leaves. And I finished, like, I talked to people for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And we finished packing up the last box. And from a distance, I hear, "Wait, don't go." And these kids are running, holding their buddy, like in the middle. And they just bring him to me and they show me his leg. And he got it tattooed in like those 30 minutes. And they came to show us. And I was like, "Yo, you're..." But that's
like it was probably a bit much, but okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was at the House of Blues in San Diego, the Voodoo Lounge.
Yeah. We were sober that night because we were really sick. That's how we remember that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What were you really sick with?
I just had like, I mean, on tour, my throat always gets messed up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I say sick, but I was just like
feeling worn down.
I was, wear and tear, especially when you go down. There's like runs that really get you messed up, like 5 days in a row. It's brutal. By San Diego, you know, you already did Seattle,
you go all the
Portland,
way through. Yeah.
Sac, San Fran, San Jose. By the time you get to San Diego, you're pooped. And then you got a rest day when you go to Texas or Arizona or wherever. But
that's a big weather change. I mean, you're all wet and cold in Seattle, and then by the time you get down to San Diego, you're dry and warm. That's a shift. That's a shift.
But that's a shift I'll take any day. The other way around.
Well, now you've got on the schedule. You're coming to our neck of the woods here, January 18th. So you've got the Playground Festival, which has another Florida original, not Miami original, but got
Flip Turn.
The other side of the state, Duval County original. So you guys have done some touring with Flip Turn, right?
We haven't, but we just finished working with Chad Copeland. Produced one of the records. Am I right, Adam? Yeah, right.
Yeah. He just finished a record with Flip Turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
We showed up to Chad's place like right after their session, pretty much. So
it was like serendipity because I don't think we got hit up to do that festival until after we found out about them through Chad, and it was almost like right after. Chad was like, "Oh yeah, I know this other Florida band Flip Turn. They're pretty cool. They're good. Check them out." We checked them out. Like, oh, they're sick. How have we not heard about them? And then a week later, we got hit up to do a festival. It's like, oh, Flip Turn's headlining. Cool.
Oh, that's wild. So you guys never you hadn't heard of them up until that point.
No, and then we're working with Chad, and Chad lives in Oklahoma. Also, I want to go back to talking about different areas of the country and talking about bands. Shout out to Oklahoma, man. I mean, they got some serious musicians and songwriters out there. I mean, J.W. Francis, Broncho, Sports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what was that band called that we met? I think they were called like Dad,
Husbands.
something Dad. Husbands. Yeah, Husbands. And then Chad works out of there. I mean, there's a lot of great work coming out of Oklahoma. That's crazy.
Will Dorado is out of there too.
Will Dorado too, yeah. I think Chad produced them too.
Yeah, solid group right there.
So we went out there to record this next record coming up, and yeah, I mean, we just met all these crazy, awesome acts, and we heard about Flip Turn there too. So it's great.
Nice. Yeah, Flip Turn, super nice group. You'll definitely enjoy them. Although I'm guessing they're gonna be so busy. They got, I mean, putting on that festival. We know
how it is. We know how it is. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. But like, as soon as you guys do that show with us, you're on the road for like 3 months with Magic City Hippies.
Or 2 months. It's gonna be a fun one, but 2 months is a long time.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I would be very surprised if they don't. But hopefully, Magic City Hippies invites you guys to their dinner nights. They have some epic dinners, man.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You can check them out too. Like most of the time, they put them on social media. But like, every now and then on tour, they'll just like they'll stop at an Airbnb and just get all these great groceries and then make this huge meal and just go at it. And it's
it's great.
I think we're definitely gonna have to get in on that and share our own, chef.
Well, hey, I heard about the bacon toast earlier this morning. I know what can go down. Okay, I know there are some good things.
Leo actually is a great cook.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we used to for morale boost, because after like 5 days in a row you're pooped.
Yeah.
That day off that you get, we used to have like cookouts at the Airbnb on those days.
Nice.
Like, kind of like the same thing, just
you got to regroup. You got to center.
Exactly. Have some meat on the grill, drink a few cold ones, and relax. It's beautiful.
I think you can do it with the Magic City Hippies. I think you'll be able to get that same vibe.
I think we're gonna get along just fine.
Oh yeah. Well, now you guys have obviously played Gainesville before. You've played North Florida before. What are the vibes like? Are they good? They high?
I love North Florida.
Man, I mean, I rest in peace the High Dive, man. I mean,
oh my god,
the High Dive was a great spot, and
so sad that it couldn't last.
Yeah, and it was fitting. There's a band that actually was conceived in Gainesville. They're called the Hales, and they ended up playing the last High Dive show. So that was cool. I thought that was very fitting. And those guys, the Hales, they're great too. I mean, if you have never heard of them, they're friends of ours. And I went to school with one of the band members, and yeah, they're great.
Very nice. Well, guys, I can't wait to see you guys come here in about a month. I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Benjamin.
For sure. Listeners, make sure you get tickets to the Playground Festival or any of the shows that Mustard Service has coming up with Magic City Hippies. What do you guys want to hear? What should we play?
Oh God, I've been listening to I've been on the McGee Dijon train, so I've just been listening to that, unfortunately.
No, I'm saying Mustard Service. What should we play?
Oh.
Come on, we're promoting your stuff here, Marco. Come on now.
Well, Your Cat Will Stand a Chance, I think, is my favorite thing we have out so far.
All right. Adam, you in agreement?
Yeah, put on Cat, put on Dominoes, put on,
I love pleasantries too.
put on pleasantries. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like since we've already played up Your Cat Don't Stand a Chance, we'll leave the listeners hanging on that one. Let's go with pleasantries.
Let's go with pleasantries. That's one of my favorites to play live. It's a lot of fun.
That's it. Listeners, we're going to hear pleasantries right here. Mustard Service on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. You just heard a Mustard Service, Mike. Just nice fellas. Yes! Just nice dudes, And I think it's an indication that I'm getting old of how excited I get about young fellas starting bands,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, look at that. Your whole life is ahead of you. Yeah, And I'm like, if I could have your youth. I think that's a little bit of it, but they just seem, it seems so fun. They're building.
It's great.
They're building their audience. They're going around. They're touring. They can eat horrible things and not die the next day,
Yeah.
Just
no
all
responsibilities.
all the
Yeah,
young
it's
buck
great.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Hats off to them, They got some good tunes. They're going to be up here for the old Playground Festival in January. And then they're off touring with these guys, with the old Magic City Hippies.
Sweet.
And that's just going to be a fun time. My God, on the road with the old hippies there for 2 months. That's going to be good. So shout out to Mustard Service for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C, Zap 3.
Also, real quick about Mustard Service before we get into the old top three, Mike. When we got on the Zoom to record the interview, Marco was like, whoa, man, your voice is so smooth. I love it. And I was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Mine? I was like, hey, I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, it's a good compliment.
I was like, I have never heard that in my life, but thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So shout out to Marco. So now I feel like I need to just do the whole podcast like, all right, guys, we're going to go in here. We're going to do the Mike C top three. Here we go.
Yeah.
But, Mike, the top three topic, this was delayed a week.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we had the clip show. Fantastic. Go back and listen to it if you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
This week, though, our topic is top three breakfast items from fast food restaurants.
Yes.
Mike, do you have any honorable mentions?
I do.
Okay, I've got some too. How many you got?
2.
Okay, I've got like 5.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you like 3, and then you give. No, I got 4. So I'll give you 2.
Okay.
You give me 1. Then I'll give you
Cool.
my 2 others. Then you give me 1. So my first one, Baconator from Wendy's.
Sweet.
Mike,
Baconator.
That's right. They have a Baconator breakfast sandwich.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, nothing says I don't give a about the rest of my day like getting a Baconator for the breakfast item. Like that is,
Yeah.
and you know what? I respect that. I respect that. And now, listeners, I've never had the Baconator, but just the idea, just that exists makes me happy. And
What is it?
I mean, it's got a lot of bacon on it, and it's a hamburger. I do believe. I I think it might be you can get sausage. Hold on, let me investigate
that's
this
hilarious.
because I saw a picture of this breakfast Baconator. No, okay, yeah, not burger, sausage,
Okay.
and bacon. So
Gotcha.
even more unhealthy. Yeah. Yeah, and I dig it, man. I dig it. So it's your choice. Let me just give you the description from Wendy's. Breakfast Baconator, grilled sausage, American cheese, applewood smoked bacon, a fresh cracked grade A egg, deep breath, more cheese, more bacon, all covered in Swiss cheese sauce. Don't just break your fast. Destroy it. Huh?
You had me until the sauce. Everything sounded great
No!
until the sauce.
The Swiss cheese sauce? It's just cheese, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Who doesn't want more cheese? Come on. That's great. That's pretty sad, Mike. On the actual Wendy's website, there's only one person that's reviewed this for 5 stars.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
Feel like there should be more than that.
That's so funny.
Anyways, Mike, that's my
Wendy's
first.
is gonna find us and make us delete that clip.
That's my first honorable mention. My second honorable
that's
mention.
great.
I feel like this is a lot of folks like this one. It would be the chicken minis from Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, those are great.
They're just teeny little bite-sized pillows of heaven, Mike. I mean, the biscuit's delicious. It's fried chicken. That's delicious. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A has a great biscuit. Mm-hmm. They have a good biscuit.
Mike, your honorable mention. What we got?
From Dunkin' Donuts, snack bacon. I don't know if this is just a side, but it's just
Is it just bacon?
It's just bacon in a little like fry pouch.
Okay.
That you would get as a small fry from McDonald's, but it's just full of bacon.
I see this. I just looked it up. Yeah, it's literally just seasoned bacon apparently.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks so unhealthy. I mean,
It's great. I've tried it. It's fantastic.
It literally is just bacon in a little like fry container. Wow.
Oh, you know, it'd be a great idea. You just sprinkle that on top of a bagel.
I mean, you could
cream cheese.
sprinkle
Just
that on anything.
Yeah.
Bacon, for God's sake. It's
Sprinkle
awesome.
it onto a Baconator.
Yeah, sprinkle it right on there, Mike. Gas, big breath, more bacon. There we go. Mike, my next one, Burger King fully loaded croissant-wich, bacon, ham, and sausage.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The trio.
Now, I've never had this one either, Mike, but, I've had a croissant-wich back in the day, and I could imagine what it would be with all 3 forms of pork, so, like, it just makes it even better. Just makes it even better.
For sure.
Mike, next one on the list, Taco Bell Breakfast Crunch Wrap. As you know, I tend to make fun of the old Crunch Wrap, but not the Breakfast Crunch Wrap.
Nope.
I feel like you can be a little bit more, elevated. Like, I feel like, I always make fun of the Crunch Wrap for being junior high, but I feel like you can be junior high for breakfast,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, it just looks like, they just got the hash brown in there and the eggs.
It's got hash browns.
Yeah, it's got hash brown in there. I mean, it's basically like a breakfast burrito, just pushed flat,
Gotcha. Okay. Might have to try that.
Sign me up. Last thing I've got, Mike, I actually had 5. I didn't realize. Last one, Cinnamon Crunch Bagel from Panera. Oh, man. Mike. Now, this is one that I've had. I've had, like, roughly 400 Cinnamon Crunch Bagels from Panera.
Okay.
I used to live about 2 blocks from a Panera. And most weekends, me and my roommate, I'd look at him and be like, Panera? And he'd be like, you know it.
That's right.
And Mike, I don't want to do a spoiler, but on my top 3, there's another Panera coming.
Nice. Okay.
But yes, the Cinnamon Crunch Bagel, fantastic. It tastes like a Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but in bagel form.
Yeah, I just don't like the part where it's like a crunch bagel.
Oh, I love
To me,
the
bagels
crunch.
are already,
No, I love the little crunch on the
to
top,
look at
Mike.
this.
It's so good. It's so good. Now, disclaimer on that, Mike. I haven't had one probably since like 2015. And I did see a Reddit post about how these had completely gone. So I don't know. I can't vouch for the current 2024 Cinnamon Crunch Bagel. But the last time I had it, back in 1936, they were good. So, anywho, Mike, your last honorable mention.
Again, this is just a side, but it's the hash brown from McDonald's.
You and your sides, man.
Yeah.
So you're
breakfast items.
You're a full hash brown type of guy then.
Man, I love those hash browns.
I'll
get 2 of them every time. I can never just have one.
Not like the little tater tot. You want the real deal. You want the full.
No, I'm down with the tater tots. I mean, I know that's a side at Chick-fil-A is the little tater tot hash browns.
Yeah.
I'm cool with those.
Okay.
But the McDonald's, the full hash brown, oh yeah.
Now to me, I usually think, I mean, obviously this isn't done at fast food restaurants because it's fast food. But when I think of hash browns, I think of like the real hash browns, like pan fried hash browns where you can see the little bits of potato in there, For
sure. Yeah, Waffle House style where they do it on the skillet.
The griddle.
The griddle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, skillet, it's the same thing. Skillet's just, a movable, a flat piece of iron. That's what we're looking for. Anywho, Mike, let's get into the actual list here.
I'm surprised you didn't list any of mine, by the way, in your honorable mentions. I'm just so surprised. But anyways.
Number 3 on my... There's so many things out there, Mike.
Yeah, there
are.
I
gotta be honest. My 3, they're not like... I don't think they're huge. They're that popular.
Nope. Oh, okay.
But number 3, Panera bacon spinach souffle with an Asiago cheese bagel. Oh my God, that is a good meal, Mike.
So true.
It makes you want to go back to sleep. And it is so good. That bacon egg, the bacon spinach souffle, so rich.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good, Mike. I could have, not a lie, I could have 10 of those.
Yeah.
And each one of them's 800 calories or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. Those Asiago bagels, by the way.
So good. Yeah. So good.
They're good.
Mike, you're number 3.
Very simple. Dunkin' Donuts, everything bagel, cream cheese.
Say what? Gosh, what a plain Jane, man.
Yeah, very plain Jane, but man, every time. Very consistent.
All right.
Always great.
I'm not going to knock it.
Extra toasted, by the way. Extra toasted.
Mike, this may blow you away. I don't think I've ever been to a Dunkin' Donuts.
No way. I don't believe that at all.
I don't think I have. I've never had a need for Dunkin' Donuts. And I mean, that's what can I say? I'm from the South. If I'm going donuts, I'm going Krispy Kreme. You're not getting me with the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. But they got the coffee and...
They do. They do.
You've never had Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
I don't know.
Wow.
No.
Not a coffee guy. But...
I'm gonna break it at some point in time. I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
I'll
you have to. Yeah.
My number 2, Mike. And speaking of being from the South, my number 2, let me just say something. This is the place to eat breakfast in the South, and that would be Hardee's.
Ooh, Hardee's.
Hardee's.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Exactly. Hardee's loaded omelet biscuit. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, get out of here, man. There is something about being fat in the South and eating some Hardee's breakfast. You go in that restaurant, Mike, and the average age in that restaurant is 75. And most people just have a biscuit and coffee, and the biscuit that's already 90% butter, they're buttering with more butter on it, and you're just
the packaging is already transparent.
Exactly. Exactly, man. They're on
good food.
They're on their 3rd cup of coffee. It's great.
Yeah.
You sit back in your little plastic booth and you're like, life's good. Hardee's.
Good old, yeah.
Hardee's is the place, man.
They're still open?
Oh yeah, man. Get out of here. Is Hardee still? Of course they're still open. Ah, jeez.
I think here it's Carl's Jr., but
You got the split. Yeah, you got the split. I don't know if
Okay,
they're...
so that is the same thing.
I mean, there was a whole thing where they split. Let's see if they're... The westernmost Hardee's restaurant in the United States is Siloam Springs, Arkansas. The easternmost Carl's Jr. is Oklahoma.
Okay.
And there is 30.7 miles between the two, and it's known as the mixing zone. Yeah.
I love that.
The Hardee's and Carl's Jr. chain are owned by the same parent company, CKE Restaurants Holding. The two chains share a similar logo and have minor menu differences. However, Carl's Jr. locations are more concentrated in urban areas in the West, while Hardee's is more spread out across the East and Midwest. There you go. There you go, Mike.
Cool. Now we
Hardee's.
know. I don't know, man. It just says there's Hardee's in Oklahoma. Like you can go.
Lies,
there's even
Mike.
In Wyoming. I'm sorry, Doc G. I just got really inspired because I learned how to use my iPhone to search the entire U.S. for Hardee's.
Oh.
I didn't know how to do that.
I got my news from Google, Google's AI overview. So if that's wrong, it's more reason for me not to trust AI.
There we go.
I am going to be more distrustful if Siloam Springs, Arkansas is not the
But you know how the
furthest
Earth
west.
is curved, and so it could be. I'm just looking at it from a visual standpoint. I have no idea.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways.
So you're just looking at the map there.
Yeah,
and
I'm just looking
where
at it.
they're
It just kind of
located.
looks like, Idaho or Montana is more western than Arkansas.
Well, it
seems-
definitely is.
Yeah,
That's not a question there.
but it's
I'm just-
much more north. So that's why.
well, let's see here, Mike. Yeah. No. The AI is completely
We're rambling,
wrong.
Doc G.
I don't care. We need to get to the bottom of this, Mike. This is important. I just looked on the Hardee's website, and they have Wyoming listed on the website. So that AI is and once again, I do not trust AI. I trust it even less now. We've got Wyoming. Now, I don't think there is no California, Mike. You've got no California, so you don't go that far. There is no Nevada either, so you can't enjoy Hardee's. I'm sorry.
No.
But, you can, like you said, you can go across state lines and go, well, you'd have to go all the way to Montana, I think, would be
Yeah.
the closest. No, Wyoming. Wyoming would be closer for you. So you could go to Wyoming. It'd just be like a 8-hour trip or 10-hour trip, something like that. Be
Yeah,
good.
stupid. Oh, wow.
Anywho, good Lord, we got them all over the place in Florida. Anywho, we are rambling, Mike. Mike, what's your number 2?
Number 2, McGriddle with bacon, egg, and cheese. McDonald's
Classic.
McGriddle, bacon, egg, and cheese. How can you beat somehow them inventing a sandwich that's made of that the bread is pancakes and it's filled with syrup pockets of syrup. That's amazing.
Mike, I'll give it to them because they're the originals. But, I'd go to Hardee's if I could between Hardee's and McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'm not going over. Hardee's just, to me, the whole menu, and they're made from scratch, Mike. You look back there, they're making those biscuits from scratch at Hardee's.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's the real deal. They're not making, don't get me wrong, the McGriddles are delicious, but they're not making those from scratch. That is not happening.
No
That's
way.
coming out of a package back there.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Now, my last one, Mike, once again, another Southern classic, and I don't think it's probably on your list. Well, I know it's not unless it's your number 1. But my number 1, Bojangles Bowberry Biscuits.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Mike, have you had them?
No, I've never been to Bojangles.
Oh, my gosh, Mike. Mike, me and my brother, the first time we went to a Bojangles, we saw on the door to the restaurant, there was a warning for people with heart issues not to eat at the restaurant. And we were like, we're at the right place. This is going to be good.
Oh, man.
Like, it is the real deal. Butter aplenty, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, this may sound bad, Mike, but back in the day when I lived at my parents' house, and we would do Thanksgiving at my aunt's house, I actually looked, because we'd eat lunch there, and then the only thing open at night was Bojangles. That was the only thing that was open on Thanksgiving in my podunk town. And so that's where we would go. And I actually looked more forward to the Bojangles than the Thanksgiving meal earlier that day. I was like, oh, my God, we're going to get Bojangles. It's going to be so good.
That sounds amazing. They actually have a Bojangles in Vegas.
It's good.
I might have to check this out.
Trust me. You have those Bowberry biscuits?
Bowberry biscuits.
Bowberry biscuits. Here's what Bowberry biscuits are. They're biscuits with blueberries on them, in them, like baked in them.
Yeah.
They are sugary biscuits, and then on top of them, they do the glaze like a cinnamon roll. Just all that icing gooiness all over the top of them.
Sweet.
And let me tell you something. It's one of the most fat and delicious things you will ever have, Mike. They are amazing.
I mean, you had me at biscuits, but then when you add all this innovation, yeah, that sounds amazing.
They put them in a little container. You open that container, you immediately, the sweet hits the back of your nose. How sweet they are, man! And it just ooze everywhere.
Yeah.
All the icing has oozed. Oh God, they are good, man. They are good. Anyways, you're number one.
Also a biscuit, Doc G. And this is also very simple. The sausage biscuit from McDonald's. When I go to Mickey D's, even before the McGriddle, I will have a sausage biscuit. Lots of mustard.
Like I said,
that's it.
Like I said, Mike, I'm not going to knock McDonald's. And a lot of people don't. If you look online, I don't know if you checked out online. I looked at a lot of like top fast food breakfasts. McDonald's was like number one on pretty much all of them. It was so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they've been doing it more than anybody, man.
It's pretty consistent.
They've been doing it longer than anybody.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was a young buck and I'd go with my grandma every now and then to McDonald's. It was the hotcakes, Mike.
Oh yeah, she get the all-American breakfast.
I'd get the hotcakes.
Oh, okay.
That was me.
Gotcha.
She was like sausage biscuit and like coffee.
Okay.
You know, she was doing yours because you're old like my grandma, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm very old. My grandparents would get the all-American breakfast. That's why I tried to guess if that's what she would get.
Yeah. Well, you know, my dad's parents, they would go to McDonald's literally every single day. Every single day. And they had you would know when they were there.
When it wasn't frowned upon.
You would drive by and you would see their Ford truck from like 1930.
Yeah.
Like it was this old truck, and you're like, hey, Papa Gordon's at the McDonald's.
Nice.
All right. Anywho, Mike, what's our topic for next week?
All right, so next week, and then I'm going to try to deviate into other things, but next week we're going to do top 3 mountains.
Okay.
Top 3 mountains.
I thought you were going to say
no more
another
food.
I was about to say, I was like, Mike, you bitch. Don't you give me another.
We'll take a break from the food. We'll go.
Top 3 mountains. I like it. All right, I'm writing it down. I don't mind mountains. I mean, we did volcanoes. These volcanoes do not erupt lava, so I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. So I've got in my notes lip balm and mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, check.
The Brad Pitt secret.
Next week, I'm going to be
Secret
so
sauce.
lubed up, you don't even know, Mike.
Sweet.
Okay, Mike, we got 2 birthday suits left. You actually just mentioned this birthday suit, so I'm pretty almost positive you'll get it. Well, actually, I'll just say that. Who did you feel bad for that they got stuff thrown at him, Mike?
Billie Eilish.
There you go. Yes, correct. That is the birthday suit. Billie Eilish. Born on December 18th, 2001. My God, young buck.
Yeah.
Such a young buck. Born in Los Angeles, California, the daughter of 2 actors, her birthday suit wear was inspired by her parents to start playing music, and by the age of 6, she was playing the ukulele. She wrote her first song when she was 11, which was based off of the show Walking Dead. When she was 13, she started working on music with her brother Phineas. They recorded a couple songs, including Ocean Eyes, which they uploaded to SoundCloud, and within a couple of weeks, it had received hundreds of thousands of listens. In 2019, she released her album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? The album was extremely successful. That's an understatement. When the album was released, she simultaneously had 14 songs on the Hot 100 chart. Every song on the album except for one was on the Hot 100 chart. Then in 2021, she released Happier Than Ever. And earlier this year, she released Hit Me Hard and Soft. In her short career of about 7 years, she has won 9 Grammys and has been nominated for 32. She currently has 105 million listeners on Spotify. And in less than 6 months, her song Birds of a Feather has racked up 1.7 billion streams on Spotify in 6 months.
Good for her, man.
Not starting anything, Mike, but she has more monthly listeners than Taylor Swift.
Mm.
And she has a song that's been streamed more than any of Taylor's.
That's right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
That's numbers, Mike.
Yeah. They don't
When
lie.
when you can go into a party and go, yeah, I'm listening to more than Taylor Swift. Like, what? What?
Yeah.
Crazy, Mike. It's crazy, and you know Billie's attitude. It basically looks like she's like, I don't really give.
No, not at
You
all.
know, it's just, all right, 105 million. That's pretty cool, I guess. I'm gonna go back to writing some music. Like, just, wow, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's wild.
What do you do with that when you're 23? Yeah, I would have already had like 15 psychic breakdowns. Just,
Yeah.
Yes, I would have already become a drug addict, an alcoholic, and went to rehab 15 times by this age for her. It's incredible.
I wonder
It's
why,
crazy.
like, it's not more talked about going to a Billie Eilish concert than it is going to a Taylor Swift concert.
Well, because she doesn't try to do the whole concert thing.
Okay.
That's the thing, is she's more streaming. Like, because, you know, Taylor puts in a ton of work into this
show,
production.
yeah.
This whole idea, you're there, because, like, you know, Billie, like, said that in a couple of interviews where she was like, nobody wants to watch me for 3 hours. You got to be a psychopath to want to do that. And I think she said something around psychopath. I don't know if she said psychopath, but, like, people took it as she was shooting shots at Taylor for that. But, like, I mean, I think that's just her attitude. She's like, I'm not going to set up there and make some kind of giant production. I'm going to sing my songs. That's what you want to hear. I'm going to do that. If you don't want to do that, don't listen.
Yeah.
And apparently people are like, we're going to throw necklaces at you. So,
Losers.
You know,
Stop doing that.
It's very uncalled for, Mike.
Yeah.
Very
Come
uncalled
on.
for. You know, learn how to act, guys. Learn how to act. But anyways, happy birthday to Billie Eilish, man. Just super successful there. Mike, you know this one too. What if I were to say X gon' give it to you?
Oh, DMX.
DMX is correct, Mike. That is it. Born in Mount Vernon, New York. My God, you read about his childhood? That's a rough childhood there, Mike. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
But he found rap when he started beatboxing for a local rapper in Yonkers named Ready Ron. In 1998, he went to, 1988, he went to jail for stealing cars. That's when he really started working on the craft. That's when he got into his lyrics there. Our Birthday Suit wearer was eventually signed to Def Jam Records in 1997. He released his debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, in 1998. And then his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, in the same year. He became the only rapper other than Tupac to have 2 consecutive #1 albums in the same year. It was that record was broken again by Young Boy Never Broke Again. Ironically, didn't mean to say never broke.
Yeah.
But he then released his third album, and then there was X in 1999, which also went to #1. His fourth album, Great Depression, debuted at #1, and his fifth album, Grand Champ, debuted at #1. Our Birthday Suit wearer released 8 albums in total. Sadly, our Birthday Suit wearer died on April 9th, 2021. He is the only rap artist to have his first 5 albums go platinum and go to #1. Name that Birthday Suit wearer. DMX.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah. DMX, man, had some good jams.
Yeah, he did.
Good jams, Mike. I was a that first album. Oh, that's my favorite. By far, that's my favorite, man. The It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Ooh, there are some bangers on that album.
What was the one where he's like all bloody on the cover?
That's Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood.
That was the one for me.
That was that was his second album. That didn't do it to me. The Dark and Hell is Hot. There were like probably like 5 or 6 jams that I was like, yeah, these are really good. These are good.
I mean,
anyway,
I didn't know what I was listening to. I just listened to it because all my friends had the album and
peer pressure.
Yeah,
Mike was under peer pressure, guys.
Exactly. But there was some good music.
But yeah, it was real good music. Shout out to DMX. Shout out to DMX. Shout out to Billie Eilish, and shout out to who was the first guy?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Lip balm. How could I forget that? Gosh, I already ordered a case, Mike. Anyways, Mike, we got to wrap it up for this week. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Verticus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.